Let's see, we are almost going live. We're still waiting. All right, your encoder settings are correct, and we're just waiting for that live stream to show up on YouTube. So welcome guys back to another episode of Box Mining. So we're 11th of September. Ooh, that's a pretty nasty date. But yeah, so it's Friday, September 11th here in Hong Kong. We're bright and early in the morning. It is actually raining cats and dogs outside. It was crazy. Trying to get here this morning was just a mess. So anyways, apologies for the delayed start. Many excuses. Obviously it was raining, but I think a lot of you guys also guessed I was probably yield farming this morning, just checking up on my farms, trying to decide what to do with everything there. So that's kind of the delay in the morning. But big welcome to everyone coming and joining in on us on this channel. And we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening on the markets overall. Not too much this week, to be honest. Been relatively stable. Stable being kind of a funny word these days, but anyways, so no insane panic, no insane pump as of yet, but we'll have to see what's going on overall in the market front. Now we also have a little bit of the discussion on yield farming front. I'll be honest with you guys, yield farming has been just so exhausting this week. Like yesterday, luckily for me, I had a good night's rest, but for the most of this week, it was just like farm after farm. We have not just sushi, sashimi, sake. We have a bunch of these moon ones coming up, and it's reaching a point where it just gets almost ludicrous. It's just like so many new farms and so much to check on each new farm. It's getting to a point where managing funds also becomes a big problem as well, just knowing where you're farming. Because technically speaking, what happens when a new farm comes up, I just send a little bit there. And then if it's, not broken, not legitimate, obviously that's small amounts of testing, and then you move bigger amounts over. But man, just moving those funds yesterday, I was like consolidating a lot yesterday. It was just insanely tiring and boring. And it's like you're almost like, you're happy that you're making money, but at the same time, it's just like, this is the most monotonous stuff in the world. So anyways, that's my complaint. That's me bitching. First world problems. All right. First world problems. All right. It's not the end of the world. But anyways, we got Decentral. Leo says, honest work. Yep. Honest work, man. It's still ridiculously powerful compared to everything else out there. A lot of times when it's yield farming, I'm just like, really like, I'm tired. It's like 2 a.m. in the morning. And I'm just like, okay, look, if I can go into this farm, I can make $1,000 by the next morning or something crazy like that. Because with these new farms coming up, they have crazy rewards at the start. So you're like, oh man, it's $1,000. I don't want to miss out on that, right? It's still 1,000, 1,000, still 1,000, right? But at the same time, you're like, okay, look, it's so exhausting and tiring. It's 2 a.m. The chances of you making a mistake and sending coins to the wrong address is also really high. Like, especially if it's 2, 3 a.m. Like, you're so tired, you're checking these addresses. You don't even know if it's a ledger or a Trezor you got stuck in your computer anymore. It's a serious risk. And luckily I've avoided any fund wrong sends, so I avoided sending funds to the wrong address this time. So like, luckily so far so good, but like, I feel like at some point something bad's gonna happen. But anyways, that's my 2 cents on everything going on. We have so many discussions, like YF beta review, please. I actually didn't touch it. It's one of those things I'm like, oh, look, if I don't get it for free, I'm not going to touch it. And for Harvest, someone's like, thoughts on Harvest. I'll have a whole yield farming episode later. But I mean, yet again, Harvest now has impermanent loss. So I'm not really in every one of those pools anymore. I farmed it for free earlier, like when the bread for the people thing was up, when you can farm stuff for free. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on everything going on. Angela Wine says, you need to sleep when you can't tell the difference between a ledger and a Trezor. I think so. You're just saying, oh, what is this key? Okay, whatever, let's go. Anyways, so that's kind of my story for this week. And let's go, and just before we start this episode, guys, make sure you smash up the likes down below. Providing good information, answering your questions. Definitely like this video. We also have Let me just tell you very quickly about my podcast. We're ramping up production on that this week. So in my best advertising voice, we got Unlocking the Value on Every Blockchain with Ramp DeFi. That was released on Bitcoin out of the box podcast this week. Podcasts are, I found it's a great way to listen to content on the go. So recently I've been trying to run a little bit. It's exhausting. I'm trying to run and I want to listen to something. Well, yeah, I can listen to myself, I guess, if I'm that narcissistic, but I'm recommending that to you guys. You can listen to some podcasts, and one of them is definitely Bitcoin out of the box. So I definitely feel it's like a better format for a lot of these interviews, and we're going to get some more exciting content in the near future. So talking about, let's go straight to the markets. First of all, I think you guys have been waiting for this. So not too much has happened over the past 24 hours. If you look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, within that 2% tolerance that we've been seeing. So not too much. We've seen markets recover slightly. So Ethereum at 363 rather than trying to touch that $300 mark. We saw that earlier this week where the whole entire cryptocurrency market was very much tied to the stock market. So when stock markets also took a dip, cryptocurrency markets also took a dip this week. And then when your fun stocks like your Tesla and stuff rose up a little bit, recover 10, 20%, crypto also follow the same. So we saw very, very strong correlation with the traditional markets this week. That's why everyone's pretty much eyeing traditional markets. And a lot of the reason has to do with the fact that crypto and Bitcoin and Ethereum and all this blockchain DeFi stuff has a lot of relation with kind of new projects, right? So a lot of people are looking at this as a hotbed for innovation rather than, let's say, like, for example, Bitcoin. It's more of a global transfer of value, a global store of value. That's kind of what Bitcoin is powerful for. But anyways, that's kind of the misconceptions right now. And it will take some time for us to decouple from everything. And I don't think we're still decoupled yet. I know there's a lot of people saying, yo, we're decoupled. We discovered like for a month, we're not correlated. So we're decoupled. But this is a very strong sign that we're still strongly coupled to the traditional markets, especially this week. So it will take some time. It will take years. It's something that, I know, like, it's kind of funny. I mean, I'm almost off reading crypto news now. So it's kind of funny. It's like, like I'm covering crypto news, right? But I'm always to a point where I actually want to stop reading crypto news. Cointelegraph. I know Cointelegraph, they write so many articles very quickly, right? But yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, oh yay, Bitcoin 12.5K pump didn't much impress Peter Brandt. Like, why do I need to know this? And then they're constantly like talking about the CME gap. I know this is a big deal for a lot of people, but you have to remember that CME isn't the biggest trading derivatives trading location. It is for institutions, right? So institutions, they don't trust your FTX, your Binance futures, or your BitMEX. I mean, they don't trust that as much. But on terms of sheer volume, derivatives trading, just CME, it just isn't really much out there. So this is kind of a situation where, see, like, this is my point in argument, right? If you look at 24-hour volume, you got OKX, BitMEX, Huobi Futures, Binance, FTX, Bybit, Deribit, MXC, BitZ, BSC, BTSE, CMEX, KuCoin, and then you're scrolling all the way down, and you got, number 34, we got CME futures. So I know a lot of people love talking about the CME gap, but in terms of the actual volume there, it's not that much, right? That's the kind of interesting thing. It's $35 million volume. It's probably a lot more legitimate in terms of volume reporting. I mean, I'm sure there is some fake volume here or some market make volume here. But at the same time, if you look at it, the volume is a lot higher. And if you ever go on these exchanges to try to trade futures, orders float really quickly. FTX, Binance futures, I've all used that. Bybit, I've used that too. Femex, I use that too. They're also fast in terms of volume. So yet again, it's one of those situations where you read this and you're just like, okay, look, how much truth is there in here, or is it just all bark and no bite? And it's one of those situations I feel like the bark is very, very loud. Everyone's talking about CME futures, trying to close that gap between what's happening on CME futures. Maybe it might be a point where, if everyone's talking about it, it leads to something in the end. But at the same time, I always want to point out in terms of raw, solid fundamentals, yeah, like CME futures is just such a small volume. It's I'm still trying to rationalize as to why people give it so much credence. And I think it's another thing where I've been trying, like, it's not that I don't have the time to read crypto news, but at the same time, I just feel the reporting sometimes is so bad. You don't want to fill your mind with fake information. I think that's what leads to potential disasters. If you follow mainstream media and you follow even crypto media every day, it's going to give you these either false hope, or it's going to give you a lot of FUD for no particular reason. And it's to that point where, like, generally speaking, I'll reserve a very small amount of fraction of my time looking at this. I just want to see, okay, what everyone's talking about. But it's not information. It's not actionable information. And okay, that's my 2 cents just bitching about this. So I feel yet again, okay, that everyone's talking about CME futures. Good if you guys want to look at it, but yeah, not the biggest kind of information that I want to really like make it actionable. So for me, that's kind of key right now. So Freestyle says all-time high ETH volume today. Let's take a look. Trading view. We'll take a look. The problem right now is that in terms of trading volume, you have to be very skeptical about what's going on. It depends on what exchanges you're looking at. I mean, if you look at ETH volume on Coinbase, this is I usually just look at Coinbase. Probably might look at Binance sometime in the future as well. But in terms of Coinbase, yeah, not too much. Volume's actually going down today. We saw huge volume spikes during either the big pump or the big dump. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened last week. We went all the way down. That's the narrative. And then we hit resistance, or actually not resistance. We hit the support at 300 and around $300, 316. I think the red candles probably for a second there touch 300. I think that's where people potentially could freak out. But we're kind of recovering here, trying to decide where to go next, trying to not to be affected too much by the market. So it's not too interesting right now. Going on, there were spikes, kind of signs of recovery throughout the week, which is why all of a sudden Ethereum gas prices have gone up. So if you look at it from a pure Ethereum perspective, so what happened was that during all this like FUD and all this like Ethereum gas. So if you look at ETH gas station right now, we're all the way back up to 100 plus Gwei. So previously last week during the rush up, I mean, if you look at Ethereum prices going up, Ethereum going up also led to more and more farms appearing, right? So that's when like SUSHI and stuff were super hot. And coinciding with that big push last week, we basically saw gas prices going up like insane amounts last week too. Ethereum gas going up to 400 Gwei, transactions costing like $20, $30, essentially destroying anything that's not yield farming. I think a lot of people were very pissed. I got a lot of the anger too, because you're like, oh, you're promoting yield farming. Now the whole network's congested. It's the way the market works, guys. Not one person won't change everything, right? It's the way the market has flown, and the way yield farming is right now a way for projects to bootstrap themselves. And I don't see that changing for the time being, because it's just such an effective way to get a following. So yeah, so that's what happening, the rally up, and then we had the rally down. And on the way down, basically Ethereum gas prices also dropped. People felt like, oh, this is over. It's the end, it's dead. And then this week, again, we see prices going, gas prices going up as well, because, things recovered a little bit. People are like, oh, we're okay playing with farms now. We got SushiSwap popping up. We got SakeSwap popping up. We got a bunch of others just all popping up because I guess why not? So yeah, that's the kind of magic of it. So that's kind of the take on the market. We have Bitcoin also. Bitcoin is just kind of sitting there. Maybe a CME futures thing is really getting to Bitcoin, Uncle Bitcoin. But to be honest, Bitcoin hasn't really moved much at all this year. Not this year, this month, right? I mean, we are 6 months after the halving. So if you just want to point out from a very, very broad perspective, let me just figure out how to work. All right, there you go. I have to click properly. So if you look at it from a broad perspective, Bitcoin was really sitting in this channel for the longest period of time. And now pretty much we're going to move down to this channel. Yay, congrats, Bitcoin. But overall, it's not let's be honest here, it's not the biggest movement. If you actually really just look at it, after the post-halving sort of deal, we did move up a lot. So yes, so it's kind of interesting. Like if you look at it from the very broad perspective, I've been talking to a few people who kind of only look at the markets every few months. They're like, oh, this is the post-halving pump, you know, we're still up there. Kind of very interesting up there. But anyways, it's not too much action. And yet again, this is why the whole altcoin scene is blowing up, because Bitcoin itself is not doing much action. So, you know, traders want to make money. Everyone here wants to make money. Even if they put a 10x, 20x leverage on Bitcoin, you're not going to extract too much value from the market because the market's really steady. It's just sitting around there. You could make a bit. I mean, I see some traders start talking about this stuff, but at the end of the day, when you know that Bitcoin, like intense trading, isn't really there when like owners of exchanges start yield farming like crazy. Like when you see Sam Bankman-Fried from FTX going and farming and yield farming like crazy, you know what's up, right? You know he's following the money like crazy, and like it's pretty common knowledge now that he was very, very big on mining SUSHI, and very likely he's on a lot of other ones. So it's a situation where yield farming became a much easier way to extract value, and all the funds are just moving money there. And this is why yield farming has so much value locked. If you look at it like from a perspective, so sushi.zippo.io, like even if you look at SUSHI and you look at total value locked, it's like $1 billion there. This isn't just your normal average shrimps and a bunch of degenerate gamblers going there. $1 billion into a SUSHI locked up value. You know some serious funds are there. Absolutely. I mean, we've seen, Sam was there. We've seen, Dovey Wang just coming out, pushing YF2 up the wazoo. You know that these funds are mining it like crazy. You know they're getting basically these coins for free. That's how yield farming kind of works. And then that's why we have this insane movements right now. And because everyone wants to beat each other to the chase, this is creating a pretty negative space, I would say, overall, because everything just moves so quickly. If you want to follow up on all these yield farms, you just got to be on the ball 24/7. Okay, this one's new. This one's interesting. Okay, look, who's behind it? Where's the code like? And you have to do these checks. I actually have a video on impermanent loss as well, because of the rise of yield farming, right? So many new yield farms coming up, there are a lot more scams as well. And one of the biggest ways to lose money right now, and I've had friends that I talked to them about yield farming. I'm like, go like do the safe ones without impermanent loss. They go straight to the one with the biggest APYs, just blinging around and then losing their money. That is sad. But anyways, there's a video on impermanent loss. None of this is financial advice, obviously, but this is more or less of a warning of what can happen and one of the methods to lose money too. So highly recommend you checking out this video and the series on DeFi as well. The DeFi playlist has a lot of stuff going on there. So definitely want to if you guys want to check it out. Impermanent loss is essentially with pools like I'm gonna throw Yulu under the bus here, but if anything is paired, like say these pools have 95% of a coin coupled with Yulu, but the problem is, of course, Yulu prices can swing wildly, and it's a situation where Yulu, I avoided it for a while because of impermanent loss, and some friends recommended it, bought the top yet again. YOLO prices went down, suffered some impermanent loss, managed to get out yesterday. Probably yet again, harsh lesson learning about impermanent loss yet again. So it's like, more and more farms are pairing their own coin with the farm itself, which leads to the situation where you're so tempted to try it because of the higher gains. But yet again, if it slides down in value, like this depth slide over here, it could lead to a lot of impermanent loss. So yet again, it's always about how to balance your risk and how to manage it yourself. So yet again, it's not financial advice. This stuff is extremely dangerous, very easy to lose money. All right. Very easy to gain money, very easy to lose money. And it's just about finding kind of the balance between each. So anyways, my 2 cents, check out that video. It explains to you what impermanent loss is, how this can happen. But yet again, this is one of the situations where I saw the slide down and I'm like, okay, I got to back out. I got to back out. It's just, you know, like when yield farming, the best case scenario is when a coin just stays very, very steady in value, or maybe moves up slightly. But if it moves up too much, it's eventually going to dump. And this is one of the biggest problems with yield farming right now, where because a lot of the supply, the very early supply of a coin is very small, it's very, very vulnerable to price movements. And we kind of saw this morning. So a lot of people probably reading my channel here. This is a situation yesterday, Sashimi launched. Sashimi launched and the price has just shot up to around $5, $6. And then this morning when miners came and woke up, I think that we've seen this pattern too, like around 8 a.m. in Asia time. That's when miners dump. We saw that for YFI and we saw that for YFI too. So it seems like this time is a dump time. So maybe I gotta wake up at 7 or 6 a.m. to just like dump everything. And then everyone else dumps, causing this death spiral down. So you saw the value of sashimi essentially drop from $6 to $1. So yet again, it's one of those situations where I'm very careful talking about these things right now. But the cool thing about sashimi is obviously I didn't buy any of the coins. I mined it. That's just the way it is. So some interesting things about sashimi. I'll talk very quickly about this because it's relatively interesting, I guess. But okay, first of all, basically, the pools that I generally avoid is anything touching sashimi. So if you're in the sashimi one or sashimi elf one, they have the big borders around them trying to tempt you into them, and they have higher rewards. But the high rewards come at a huge risk. This is where impermanent loss comes in, right? So I know some people love to jump into these pools, but I generally typically avoid them. Yeah, because of impermanent loss. So if the coin goes down by like 75% in value, you're going to take a huge hit on impermanent loss, and if not bigger. Then you kind of have these pools here with the much lower gains. So you have the BTC ETH or the USDT ETH or USDC ETH. You know, these are more stable, right? These are ETH stablecoin pairs. And this is a situation where, yet again, the APY is much lower, but at least you can get, some coins for free. And that's usually where I'm at. I make sure that I try at least to analyze the contracts to see where the risks are. Just be careful with these contracts. There is a migrator clause in a lot of these SUSHI clones. So if you want to talk about clone wise, right? So if the contract is based on YFI, then there is no risk of your funds being lost, or whether not no risk, but if it's like a one-to-one copy of the YFI contract, then the rules are different. But for most new ones here, they have a copy of the SUSHI contract, and the SUSHI contract has something called a migrator there. So it just uses, okay, maybe this one actually removed it. Huh, interesting. I know for Sake was the one, SushiSwap, that had the migrator there. So let me just very quickly show you or get that there. Let's see, where's their website? Obviously, oh, there you go. Google doesn't really know what's what these days. That's a funny thing. Fun times. So there's a few ways to look at it. You can also look at their GitHub, but sometimes it's better to look at their contracts. There we go. So Kmaster is a contract. And then you can So this thing is the scary one. So the migrator is where you have to be very careful. So a migrator essentially means that they can transfer your tokens out of the contract, right? So this becomes dangerous. This is what I'm looking for if I'm actually doing any analysis on these projects. In fact, you still don't want to be here. You want to be on not the GitHub, but you want to be on the Etherscan. So anyways, they don't have a ready link. So basically what happens is that when you're interacting with the contract, you scan it with Etherscan and you can see the code. And then you want to look for migrator clauses, because migrators are the ones where they can just steal your essentially all your money or your tokens outright, right? So essentially what happens is that a lot of these projects, they put it under a time lock. So there's a 48-hour delay before anything happening. But if there's no time lock there, they can just go outright theft and pull rug on you. So just be very, very careful with all this yield farming stuff. It's getting to a point where the amount of time I'm spending analyzing is increasing. I'm almost like, it's like, I feel like this is a disaster waiting to happen. It just hasn't happened yet, but I feel like there probably would be a big scam sometime in crypto that would just steal all your funds, and it'll leave a lot of people kind of crying in a corner. So just be very, very careful about everything that's going on. So we're finishing that. That's kind of the section on yield farming. In terms of the pools, other pools I'm in Cream as well. Recently, they added a swap as well, so a Cream swap. So literally, it's a fork of Balancer, so you can put your tokens in a pool, and then you can use them to swap coins, and that has been getting pretty good rewards. So I'm mostly in Cream now, actually. I'm in Cream, I'm in Sake. I'm not like a tiny bit in Sake. Even with the risks, I just used one of the higher reward pools with a lot of shitcoins in there. Sorry if I offend you, but I'm in a little bit of Sake. I'm in a little bit of Sashimi Swap. Yeah, I'm out of Yulu. I'm in YFV still. Don't want to forget that. But it's just like there's so many projects. So Pylon apparently is ending very soon, but I was in that for a long time. So yeah, I was farming up a lot of all this stuff. Yesterday, actually, just in terms of yield farming, I went and just consolidated a lot of funds. There was almost a point where I forgot where everything is. And I think one of the strategies that I've been using is whenever I go into a new pool, what I'll do is I'll screenshot the interface. So like say, if I go into a reward pool with Cream Swap, let me just connect my wallet right now. Why isn't this responding? Oh, there it goes. It's a little bit slow. But let's say if I go into like the Cream ETH one, I'll take a screenshot of this page, and then I'll take a screenshot including the address and including like what I'm in, or actually not this one. This one should be it. So I'll take a screenshot of this interface, like how many coins I have. Obviously, I'm not showing you my farm because I don't want to reveal my address. That's the typical rule with all these online videos. There are some, not you guys, but there are some guys who are malicious and just try to track people down. But anyways, yeah, I'll be going into this. Like if I go into it, I'll have a screenshot of the balance and the address into one screenshot, save it in a folder. And I think that was the best way. That actually saved my ass quite a few times. I was like, I had no idea I was in Carrot. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm in this project, like on this other farm called Carrot. And I was like, I have no recollection of this. Luckily, I had a screenshot. I was like, okay, let me take my money out. I don't know what the hell this is. So there's these times when you just blank out because there's so many farms out there. Just consolidating all that is a big mess. So we got gold silver analyst. Please tell me, bro, if YVWETH pool is safe. This is kind of the scary part. I mean, a lot of people are asking if pools are safe. None of this stuff is safe. That's why you get the rewards. I don't know why people even ask this question. There's always a lot of risk in there. So and I think YFE doesn't even have WETH pools, right? To my knowledge. Oh, this one, yeah. So the WETH pool, you're exposed to a 2% impermanent loss risk, right? So you have to watch my video on impermanent loss. So one of the biggest risks there is the price of YFE going down in value. So if it goes down in value, you can suffer impermanent loss. And also, of course, with all these smart contracts, just innate risk. This is why you're getting these insane APYs. I think a lot of people don't understand that risks in crypto is much stronger. A lot of people just want people to tell them, yo, this is safe, go into it and you can make lots of money. But that's never the case, right? That's never the case. No risk, no reward, right? Just get your big boy plans on, do the research yourself. Don't never trust someone else to tell you if it's safe or not. I think this is one of the biggest risks here. A lot of people are complaining, oh, I don't have the time to look at all these pools. Make the time. If you don't make the time, don't do it. If you're not confident in yourself, don't do it. That's a clear objective, because if you do it and you lose money, you're just gonna go cry in a corner, right? But get your big boy pants on, do the necessary research, do all the research that's necessary. It is your capital at the end of the day, right? If I'm looking after my capital, that's why I have iBags. That's why I've been up till 2, 3 a.m. sometimes 4. Try not to touch 4. 4 is really dangerous, but that's why I'm up. If you can't analyze the risks yourself, if you don't know how to analyze the risks and you're not willing to learn, please don't be in this space. Honestly, this is not this space. I made this post yesterday and I think it's absolutely true. For every good way there is to make money in this space, there's 1,000 terrible ways to lose money. All right, I think that's a lot of people are arguing with me oh, that ratio is wrong. But honestly, you guys don't know half the crap that's going on there. There's so many new yield farms. I get pushed at every day. They're like, oh, check this out, check that out. There are a million bad projects that I do not even touch. There are so many, it's insane. So there will be and bound to be malicious developers out there. You guys have to do your own research on it. And I can't stress this enough. A lot of people don't want to do the research. They're like, oh, I just have 2 or 3 hours. I just turn off that TV, stop watching TV, do your research. If you have to, learn Solidity. This stuff isn't that hard. To be honest, I taught myself how to code at a basic level. Right. I came from a chemistry science background, but I can actually mostly understand what's going on now. If you look at most of the code, I can actually start comparing. It's not the hardest thing in the world. All right. It takes the CS50 or CS60 class on Harvard. They offer all these classes for free. Do it. Spend your time on it. Especially during a bear market, that's when you learn. That's the learner market. That's when you learn, figure out what's going on. And you learn some life skills too, right? So, I'm done with ranting. I'm done with ranting on this. All right, so that's pretty much it for it. We got Kalani says, sleep is expensive. It is, but at the same time, yesterday, I was just almost to the point of exhaustion, right? I've been doing this for way too long, and there's just way too many good opportunities that I keep not wanting to pass up. So yesterday, I've actually just felt emotionally low. Even though I was making money, I just felt emotionally I was just drained. So yeah, I did have a full 8 hours of sleep last night. I was just you know what? I'm going to try to just sleep early and just get the rest needed. And just today, I'm pumped up. I'm good to go. CS50. And that's the biggest recommendation. CS50 is really good. That guy's so energetic, man. There's 2. So yeah, so we have Tristan Bauer says, I did CS50 as well. Well-rounded. Definitely. This is the CS50 from Harvard. Really, really great one. There's actually another good programming course from, I think it was from Yale. This is the craziest thing about education right now. All of this is free. You get the same classes as these Harvard kids, right? You're you can have the Ivy League quality education for free online on the internet. Why not? Yeah, Jordan says, I love CS50. That guy was super energetic. So the story with me and CS50 was I was actually in another course and I switched to CS50, and yeah, it's just great, just learning a lot. And Jefferson Tang says, how long does it take to do? It depends depends on what stage you're at. Yeah. Right now, if you follow it, it's week 1, week 2. So it's probably, I think it's 6 weeks. It's a full semester. So a full university semester. But something you can do is also you can watch the old videos if you're fast, if you understand everything and you're just every day you're doing it, you can just get it done in 2 weeks if you're fast and smart. If you really want to be intense and just switch that stuff on and be oh, let me watch it and figure it out, then yeah. Angela Wang says all the Harvard kids are doing online courses anyway. Exactly. I mean, how much are they paying for it, right? How much value are you getting out of it? It's like all for free. There's another one from Dan Bunny. If there's actually a blockchain course that's really good. I forgot which one. I think it's from edX. I think it's from edX. Let me just. I've totally forgot. Blockchain fundamentals, I think, was the one. I think this is the one. And like it's self-paced. There used to be an option on edX you can audit the course. So I'm the cheap guy who I don't really care about certs and stuff. So I'm not sure if this is still the same because I used to be very, very big on edX, right? So I used to just like take all these courses when I'm learning and stuff and self-paced learning. Back in the day, you can just click the button to like audit the course, like just watch the videos for free and not pay money. And that's what I used to do, right? You just like click it. You don't get a cert at the end, fine, whoopee, right? Who cares about that cert? At the end, all you want is this, right? You want to get that stuff in your mind and do it. The blockchain course is really hard though. The one that I did was like, oh, write a Scrooge coin from scratch. I'm like, oh, okay, how? Like, you have to have some fundamental understanding of blockchain, and it's pretty intense. Like week one was already super intense on this one. Bull automatic says a box mining market up today, night down for me. Is it American bull, Asian bear? Depends. I mean, let me check the Hang Seng Index. So Hang Seng Index is up today. So let's just check. Yeah, today we're staying mostly steady. If you want to look at Hong Kong or Asian stocks, Hang Seng is relatively steady this morning. Not too much change. A little bit up. It's kind of funny, like we're so desensitized from these numbers, like 0.3%. But actually, if you look at traditional markets, 0.3% is quite a lot. Fun times. We got a good question about Blink course. Is how well do you think Bounce platform will perform? Actually, I'm in good contact with the Bounce guys. I'm actually added as a kind of professional key signer there. Okay, so Bounce is actually really interesting. It just came out of nowhere, right? It's trying to solve a lot of the things with. I actually need to follow Chandler. So Bounce is actually really cool because they essentially solve a few of the problems that Uniswap listings are having. So right now, if a project tries to list on Uniswap, bots group that up before the general public. The bots profit the public and then dumps on the general public, right? That's the biggest problem with the current situation with Uniswap. So what Bounce is trying to do is they're trying to kind of build the infrastructure to do that initial token listing, and there's so many different options there. So I tried Bounce.finance very early on when it launched, when it was like a ratio of 1-6 for Bounce, and then it was a fair launch, etc. Now they're kind of building the next step for it. So congrats on them for listing. And then I'll talk to you a bit more about it later. I actually want to bring Chandler and Ryan onto this channel from Bounce.finance. And we're also on Twitter as well, just giving a big congratulations to DuckDAO. So this is kind of funny. DuckDAO made this insane video yesterday about the new Duck incubator. It features me, obviously, which is great. I was stunned, honestly. I'll give you guys some sound. Like, how long does this take to make, right? Like, I've been in game development and like we make cutscenes, right? But this is like, holy crap. I'm pretty impressed. Lots of energy, lots of effort. This is why I like the DuckDAO guys. They got a huge community. They got a good team. I'm not the biggest space theme guy. You kind of know me. I'm not the biggest space theme guy, but I fully respect them for doing this though. And there's also like the Ivan on tech and box mining corner. Oh, here, that's me on a corner. Thanks guys. Thanks. Thanks. One day I'll have my face on a real wall if I'm not narcissistic. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how they did that. So thanks to DuckDAO for that. So if you guys are wondering, DuckDAO, their incubator, they have a great chat channel. I'm part of them. Like I've joined them as well. And I think one of the kind of key things about DuckDAO is a lot of people are there for the allocation. That's great. But also I'm more in there for the information. Information is so key right now, especially knowing like which chat channels are your positive indicators and which ones are your reverse indicators. Like making your own judgments on that is very important. Just finding like that kind of general vibe and getting that general information. If like crypto is a full-time job, like I talk to a lot of people are actually getting burnt out by this. And part of that is because you're collecting information, but it's important to collect information. So anyways, if you guys want to check it out, check out DuckDAO on that. And some also interesting stuff on talking about coins as well. Utrust just recently launched their ability to purchase cryptocurrencies in Turkey. So that's kind of interesting. I think this is actually like crypto adoption and growth. If you want, so I saw this, right? So you know, I've been in Utrust as one of my bags as well. I definitely told you guys about that. And it's all about merchant adoption. So getting people the ability to accept cryptocurrencies on their website, on their platform, essentially making crypto payments like PayPal. And for the longest time, I didn't realize how powerful they were. But now I kind of start to realize, okay, look, as a payment solution gateway, because they offer the ability to do refunds and to essentially do what credit cards companies do, it makes spending a lot easier. And it's like to a point when I shop online, I'm like, why aren't you guys using Utrust? So yeah, there you go. I'm turning into a big Utrust show right now. But at the end of the day, hey, if some crypto millionaires and whales want to buy a house, they can do it right now, buy one in Turkey. But anyways, I actually want more kind of adoption on that front. So we have some questions and answers. Let's do some Q&A. It's already been 40 minutes here. Whoa, crazy. So I showed a bunch of courses. That's great. Definitely education is core. I'm not sure how much time you can spend right now on education. Again, it's one of those things I say right now, like, yeah, right now it's like you want to have enough education background to survive. And then at the same time, you want to be in like every single chat pool and just soaking up information like crazy. So there we go. We got Smarks Killed Wrestling says, have you heard of HAKKA? Yep, I have. Very early on, they have the black hole swap, which is super cool. Unfortunately, their level of math is way above like my current understanding of it. So it's one of those situations when I identify, look, I actually need to like understand a little bit more about how the mechanism works. But I do know that this is something that's very interesting in terms of liquidity, so black hole swap, and also know that YFL is adopting something similar too. So there you go. Ken L says, best place to farm wBTC with no impermanent loss. Ooh, good question. So Pylon was good for that. Pylon is having a pool that's ending very soon with Wrapped Bitcoin. So that was one of the ways there. So I'm not sure when it ends. This is something I actually need to look up. I was in one of the pools for that. So wBTC, yeah, so Shield Battery has wBTC there. I actually have to look up when it's ending. So I heard it's ending soon. So this was where I put most of my Wrapped Bitcoin for a while in Pylon. Right now I actually moved it. So let me figure out if my memory is good enough. I moved it to a Wrapped Bitcoin ETH pool. So I think that was on Sashimi. So this is a lot more risky, of course, but Bitcoin and Friends, BTC, Satoshi and his friends, it's a Wrapped Bitcoin and ETH pool. So you're going to be suffering some impermanent loss if this pair moves. So this is the ETH Bitcoin pair. So if ETH Bitcoin pair moves, you're going to take some impermanent loss, and you also need ETH, but that's I have both, and you get like a 200%. So I'm like, okay, why not? Yesterday this number was 1,000, so that was probably why you can tell that I jumped in. But now because the coin prices just dumped like crazy, yeah, I get like a 200%. So that's pretty much there. Jiaming Lee says it's already ended. Oh, that's too sad. Yeah, so I was farming out, just leaving it there on Pylon for a while, and yeah, Pylon already ended. So sucks to be, I guess, in that sense. Ken L says, yeah, I'm on wBTC/ETH sashimi already. Yeah, you know, you can't expect too much. I think without impermanent loss, you're looking at around 100 to 200% anyways. In terms of yield farming. That's my 2 cents. Before I was also in YFV. Let me just check out the rates right now. Yeah, YFV has a Bitcoin, Ren BTC, Wrap Bitcoin, and 2% on impermanent loss, 2% on the YFV. So yet again, it's one of those situations where it's higher returns. It's around 240%. But yet again, you're exposed to 2% YFV. I'm not sure if you guys want to get exposure to YFV or not. So even with like that small exposure, if price movements can be huge, that could be a problem as well. So yet again, that's why I'm not in the Wrap Bitcoin pool on YFV anymore, at least for the time being. I migrated to a sashimi, but in terms of YFV, I'm in on these pools here. So I'm on the BAT and the REN pool. So I have both REN and BAT, and I felt like, okay, look, with these higher rewards, it used to be 1,000, now it's only like 500. So yeah, rewards are dropping, but I mean, it doesn't warrant me to take it out, I guess, at this current point in time. So my 2 cents. Yeah, Alex says YFV BTC pools are approximately 200. I love how you guys are all farmers now. Like, we all know the rates off the top of my head. So yeah, we can get like 200% there. We can move it there. Boom, 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 boom. Like, that's crazy, guys. Like, just within that 1 month, like, we all became farming experts. It's kind of crazy. Joe Strandall says 2%, really small though, right? Even if it's 2%, say YFE went up to a peak of $75 and right now it's at 16. So that dive down, especially if you're saving a larger percentage, could mean quite a lot. So I don't think that 200% justifies that write down. So if you rolled, like, I rode from $75 YFV to 50 on the wBTC pool, but I pulled out around 50. I'm like, I just can't take that anymore. Impermanent loss can get very real very soon. So yeah, like, being able to kind of watch a price is important. In Centum, Praxis is what happened to Yulu, death spiral, right? I mean, the problem with these is that people push up the price a lot and then they can't sustain it. When the new mines come out, people just dump it every day. So even with the 5%, it's unlikely that you'll make money here. So yesterday I did clean house and I just removed any Yulu pools I'm in. I did go into 2, so I was avoiding Yulu for the longest amount of time. You saw me on Monday. I'm like, I want to avoid Yulu. And then on Tuesday, I sent a tweet out saying, oh my God, maybe I'm going to FOMO into Yulu just to try. But yet again, it's one of the situations where, yeah, the FOMO got the better of me. It did not work out that well. Luckily, I wasn't in any of the big pools. I was actually in the Lend pool. So Lend pool actually has super high gains. So I didn't really lose anything, I think, in terms of miners mining. I was in Lend. I was in also Comp pool. So these are 2 more rare pools with higher yield. But yeah, I think people who are in like any of the smaller pools probably potentially could have gotten wrecked. So yet again, crypto, you got to be smart. You got to be super smart. You got to be like 10 times smarter than everyone else, pretty much. You got to be like Sam. It's just to a point where you just got to like put a picture of Sam up every day and be like, yo, I got to be smarter than that guy. Yeah, you know, just be smarter than that guy. And then you win. We got Nipun says, I'm sorry for repeating myself. Can we please get a Telegram link, Michael? So not today. So on Friday stream, we don't open a Telegram chat. There's been a lot of, we had to do a lot of house cleaning this week. A lot of people were just like, you know, there are quite a few rules on the Telegram group that's like, we don't want to be blatantly shilling projects. If you want to show a project, you gotta say when you got into it, no forwards, etc. So we were mostly cleaning house this week, trying to get the level and the information provided by the Telegram group up. That has been my biggest kind of objective. So I definitely appreciate you guys asking for an invite. I really want to get you guys in, but we'll do that every Monday. So during the Monday live stream, we'll do that and make sure that the chat quality is super high. So it's not a paid group. I think that's the thing I wanted to avoid. I don't want to do paid groups, but I wanted a way to keep the level of information there super high. So that's kind of the rule right now. So we just open the chat once in a while for people to get in. So in that respect too, if you guys are interested in joining, do check out the live stream for on Monday. Please, let me just double check that. Let me make sure we're okay. So let's see, how do I create one? Let's see. Let me create a live stream for you guys so you can check it out on Mondays, and I'll put this here. So my streams are on Friday and on Monday, Hong Kong time, 11 a.m. And let me just make that tweet there. And if you guys click the notification squad, big thank you to all the notification squad guys, by the way, being super crazy, super fun. Let me put that there, and then we are on Monday at 11 a.m. We'll meet you guys there. That's gonna be fun. All right, so that's set up right now, and then we are getting done. So that's pretty much it for today's episode, really. I actually really need to go to the bathroom. Probably shouldn't tell you guys that, but I'm human. So yeah, I'm just kind of enjoying this time now. Dave Locke asked, did you migrate LP with Sushi? Yeah, I did. I followed them through the LP migration. Now I have SushiSwap LP tokens. So SushiSwap actually did build up and pretty okay. Price is kind of dumping a little bit, but that's expected. You guys have to realize with all these new projects coming out that there's an insane amount of new supply going in every day, right? Sushi is one of those miracles, I would say, that created so much value so quickly. But at the end of the day, I farmed it. It was fun. It was great. Sushi. But now there's so many competitors as well. So I really want Sushi to do well because it's the first. And I know Sam will probably be a good caretaker for Sushi right now after the whole Chef Nomi debacle. I don't really want to talk about that now. That's such a big disaster. But anyway, so if you think about it, the market cap right now is around $198 million for something that's like less than 2 weeks old. That's pretty insane. And the pullback on this is pretty insane too. I think a lot of people got caught up in the hype, when Sushi went up and shot up to $10. That was insane. And then dumped all the way down. And there's rumors now that a lot of the exchanges are getting a lot of flack for that, right? So we kind of see that trend, just to catch up with that trend as well. So we definitely see Binance slowing down the listing process. So after the Sushi debacle, that's kind of funny. CZ had to post a few tweets explaining the whole Sushi debacle. Then you know that it's proper on their agenda, right? You know that when they're addressing these issues, this is a big issue. And this is very likely why they're slowing down their listing process this week, because yet again, they don't want to have that negative PR. So very interesting how this dynamic's playing out. Yeah, pretty interesting. But anyways, this is one of those times when you have to realize that, with a lot of these coins, people like to get excited because the initial circulating supply is low, but as the coin gets mined, think about it this way, right? If a coin's been mined for an hour, then in the second hour, the supply will double. That's scary. That's super scary. So you have to realize that this is part of the dynamic of these mined coins. So if it's like only be mined for a day, on the second day, the supply will double again. And can that demand match the supply? And this is the biggest problem that we're going to face for the next few days. So anyways, that's kind of the case with all these mined coins, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Michael Rosselman says, do you think Sushi has a future? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the reward mechanic is better than Uniswap. And right now we're seeing so many Uniswap competitors for that reason, because people are realizing, okay, look, having a reward mechanism, having a token utility token there is powerful. So anyways, I definitely think Sushi has a future, but yet again, what price would it be at is now the biggest problem. How much is that worth? And I saw people calculating with total value traded, total value locked, and all that stuff, and trying to make a reasonable assessment of it. But yet again, it's so hard to do so because right now, with all the hype going on, how valid is that? You can write a long report, sure, but does it really have any value? Should, like, if you calculate the supposed value of sushi to be like a few cents, is it a good idea to short it? Who knows? Because right now in this market, we learned from the Zeus Capital, the fake Zeus Capital rather, idea that, you know, shorting Link was not a smart idea, right? Anyways, guys, that's the fun talks for all today. That's pretty much it. Pyramid 2017 says stick to shilling wBTC and stablecoin pools. I mean, sure, guy, sure. There's so many different people and so many different strategies out there. You know, just to kind of balance that out. I feel like a lot of people are trying to tell me what to do, what to say. A lot of this is firsthand experience, and I kind of just tell you guys what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't really filter that much. I think there's a episode where people get angry, and then I thought, oh, maybe I should filter myself for a while. But I think it's kind of nonsense, really, to be honest. A lot of people are trying to influence what I say, or what I do, but it's really, and again, what I say is what I do, right? I'm not trying to lie or trying to make up anything. Am I in other pools? Absolutely. Am I in a mixed pool? Yeah, I'm in a Sushi Eve pool. Yeah, I'm in actually a cream pool, cream and liquidity pool. I'm absolutely in there, and that did super well. So it's a situation where a lot of people are trying to push their own agenda. And I don't really have much of an agenda myself. I just want to make money. It's pretty clear. And yeah, definitely appreciate your feedback, but no thank you for telling me where to go and what to do. Yeah. So not financial advice, of course, too. So there we go. Yeah, a lot of people asking about different coins. I really want to do more coins talk. It's just a situation where farming is taking up most of my time right now. That's just the honest truth. I've cut down a lot on video production just simply because it's a lot more money. Yeah, it's just a simple truth. I've been telling you guys that I'm trying to stick to the Monday and Friday ones. I'm trying to do some DeFi stuff. Recently, I did the video with Linear Capital. Not Linear Capital, with Linear Finance, and I think that was pretty cool. Just a talk about the general DeFi trend and everything. I'm trying to do more. But yet again, it's one of the situations that for me to make a video, it takes so much time, my time, which I need to actually manage farms. So I'll try to do more this weekend. I'll try to do my other altcoins and stuff and what I'm holding. But you guys can clearly tell that I'm farming a lot, and that's been a huge revenue generator for me. So I'm really lucky on that respect and really thankful for the time that I have right now. So anyways, thank you. We got Takashi Ito says, welcome to Team Crypto. Welcome. Congrats. Thanks. And I think it hasn't really changed that much. I'm still holding a lot of Bitcoin. I did move some Bitcoin to Ethereum to rent BTC, wBTC, but they're still in Bitcoin. I didn't really sell that much Bitcoin. I just don't see the need. I'm still believing in Bitcoin in terms of what it's trying to give a value. But yet again, I want to extract as much value as I can during this market time. It just, for me, it's just not a no-brainer right now. I think a lot of people, like if you look at the market and the sentiment on why they're chatting, a lot of people are very negative on yield farming, and that's expected because yield farming took a lot of thunder and attention away from different other projects that could be also popping at this time. So very likely some people are wondering why their bags are not pumping, and that's because of yield farming. Absolutely. So you can see that kind of like negativity towards yield farming, but there are some valid points. There's a lot of posinomics going in on yield farming, and right now I feel like the rates are not sustainable, and the growth is not very sustainable either. So I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it in any way. I felt like this is the same thing that happened during the whole ICO rush. People who were in ICOs weren't very critical of it because they wanted to continue growing. And the people who are critical about ICOs, obviously they're correct in identifying that it cannot last. And this is a situation where as a yield farmer, obviously I wanted to last as long as possible because I'm making money. But at the same time, I know that this is not sustainable. It's gonna go out very bad very soon. Yeah, the negative trends are there. The hype, the greed is there. It's not gonna end well. It's just simple as that. It's not gonna end well. I take profits whenever I can, and I just withdraw whenever I can. So be safe, be cool. That's my rant on it. It's not gonna end pretty. Absolutely not. It's way too much greed. a lot of people think they can stop the greed. Like a lot of people think of people who create content like me as influencers. I hate that word, but they're like, oh, you influencers should stop the market. It's your responsibility. You cannot stop the market for what it is. Market cycles are going to go on regardless of how many people try to stop it. I'm not going to be a Peter Schiff just like sticking my head into a sand eater, right? This market's going to play out the way the market has always been played out. It's a free market. Nothing that you will do or say will change the course and flow of this market. It's just whether or not you are smart enough to be part of something that's good and avoid something that's crap. That's just the way it is. And I think a lot of people are trying their best to make something different out of it. It's not going to end well. It is going to end, and it will blow up. But yeah, for now, control your risks. That's life. Life is life, guys. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching today. I know I ranted a lot, but I hope that was valuable knowledge to you guys. If you guys are new or into this, make sure you smash up the likes. Let's get up to like 150 likes. I think that's cool, right? We have like 400 people here. So yeah, I've definitely been speaking to a lot of people about this too. And something interesting is just a heads up is that I'm researching a lot into different projects as well at this current point. We know that Ethereum is very, very clogged up. It's not that I'm not an Ethereum believer, but I believe that their ecosystem needs to be bigger. We need to have different value. So yet again, it's just to a situation where I'm actually taking a serious look at Polkadot. It's to a point where I was kind of put off by looking into Polkadot because it was so hot in China, right? So I'm like, oh my God, it's a China show. I mean, how long is this going to last, right? But I think something that someone pointed out is that Ethereum was also a China show. It's one of those projects that literally they took Vitalik around China, talking to different investors. That's what Funbushi was for. That's what a lot of my Fundushi's guys, like, they were very early into ETH and they pushed it really hard in China. So this is the same case with Polkadot. So initially I was put off, but now I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's take a good look at Polkadot. I'm actually like really looking at it as to see if there's a lot of value. So expect videos about Polkadot coming out very soon. And also Radix as well. So Radix, it's a blockchain built for decentralized finance, which is very interesting. So they have a few features. I think the primary feature here is about scaling, but scaling in such a way that all the contracts will work together. So it's a slight difference, I guess. Very technical, but the way scaling is going to work for Ethereum that's coming up is with sharding. So they're going to have different shards, but projects need to choose which shard they're on. And speaking between these shards become an issue. And Radix is trying to solve that. So anyways, that's kind of the sense there. Kalani says, need ETH 2.0 to be good. I want ETH 2.0 to be good. I'm super excited for it. But at the same time, I'm keeping my expectations very low for the release date of ETH 2.0. It's just the case that these things take a lot of time. I don't think it's going to come in this bull market. That's just the unfortunate fact. Like even with ETH 2.0 launching, it will launch at phase 1. And phase 1 is just the beacon, right? So you want it to be hit phase 2, or actually not phase 2, phase 1. So phase 0 is what's going to be at right now. It's a programmer speak. They count from 0, not 1. So phase 0 is the one that's launching. Phase 1 will be the one that they're going to try out sharding. But yet again, phase 1, can we expect it within this current bull market season? That's hard to say. So we'll have to see what's going on. Anyways, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to smash up the likes. Nicholas Potter says Radix will be epic. They've been in development since 2013. Nice. That was even before DeFi, but now they have even more DeFi features in there, right? Cool. And Matt Matheson, thank you so much for joining. Takeshi, thank you so much for joining our channel. Yeah, thanks guys for watching. I'll send you the links for next stream again. Let's see, get shareable link. And then we got Casey Babe says, you're 100% bomb right. .info plus. Yeah. Gotta send out some .info, guys. So yeah, that's a stream for next time. Make sure you guys click the like button. Yeah, set the reminders. We'll be there. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. Make sure you check out the podcast as well. We got the podcast going on. Bitcoin out of the box. Just search for it. It's got my happy face there. It's going to be great. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. see you guys next time.